Welcome to the Big Movement Podcast. If you're ready to create results and make huge strides in your business, finances, personal development, and health, then you're in the right place. Pushing past excuses and powering through procrastination can be a challenge alone. Here, you'll get the support, tools, and knowledge you need to get to the level you desire in your business and life. Let's get started with your host, Byron Ingram.
Welcome to another episode of the Big Movement Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about combining the 6 phases of marketing. As when they're all combined together, it produces a system that takes someone from being a complete stranger into a raving fan. So if you haven't already done so, go ahead and listen to the previous 6 episodes on this, and you can find the links for them in the show notes on this page. And you just simply go to byroningram.com and you'll see the links for this particular episode. Now, the key to everything is that it starts with identifying who you want to market your products and services to, because you're going to want to continuously increase the level of trust and rapport that you have built through someone along this journey. Think of it like this. If someone is a complete stranger to you, you want to take them from that moment in their life to becoming where you see someone, you give them a big bear hug. That is the way I want you to visualize someone on this journey, because it's what makes a difference. And the best way to do this is through using a series of stories. From a very young age, we've all been conditioned to buy products representing the stories that we hear. If you're kind of curious to see what impact stories have had in terms of purchasing patterns, just look at the number of products on the marketplace that promote Star Wars. Essentially, for the past 40 years, or an entire generation of people, there have been products out there that have promoted everything from toys to costumes to you name it. There's conventions out there now where people get dressed up as their favorite characters. So if you haven't really noticed that stories have a profound impact on the way that people make purchasing decisions and ultimately the way they live their lives based on what people see. So in every story that's told, it's important to convey emotions. Your goal when you're going to do this is to stimulate the appropriate emotion in clients and prospects that either leads them away from pain or towards pleasure. Pain and pleasure are two of the underlying emotions that drive all buying decisions, because people what they want to do is they love something, like, yes, they're running towards that pleasurable moment, or something hurts, like, oh, heck no, I am getting away from that as fast as possible. Those are the two driving factors. So in your business, you have to figure out what is it that's going to motivate people more, because it's different depending on what a particular business is. In most cases across the board, people are going to want to move away from some type of pain. Think of it like this. If you're going to the grocery store and you're starving, you want to move away from the pain of hunger because it kind of sucks. So you go and buy things, which is why you never go to the grocery store when you're hungry, because you're going to find that you buy stuff that you have no need to buy whatsoever, because it's designed to take advantage of that emotion. So you need to understand, what is it that drives people to buy from you? Now, a great way to do this is to use a strategy known as emotional stacking. So what emotional stacking in this instance means is that you're going to build one emotion on top of another until someone reaches that desired emotional state where they're at that peak level. They're like, I've got to have it right now. I must have it. And they're that raving fan. Think about Black Friday. Right after Thanksgiving, how many people, they get up at the butt crack of dawn, they're lining up at malls, they're doing all these things to get a toy or a TV where they're saving $50 or more. How many people would do this, and then how many won't? But they're emotional stacking because they've been seeing these things like, I've got to have this, I got to have this, like, oh, I'm going to save it. They're at that peak level where they're willing to do anything and everything to buy that particular product. And that's what you want to think about in your business. How can you do this? Because when you are that business owner and you leverage emotional stacking in this capacity, you're taking someone from being a complete stranger to a raving fan, where they have this high level attachment to you and your brand. Now remember, the stronger the emotional attachment that you form with someone to your product or the service, the more likely they're going to buy from you. And not only that, they're going to buy from you over and over again. This is the same reason why people buy from the same clothing stores or the same clothing lines or even cars over and over again because they have this emotional bond with it. Just take a look at a business like Starbucks, where they're all over the place. But are they the only place in town where you can buy coffee? Of course not. There's tons of places. But how many people, if you ask them, so what other places in town besides a Starbucks can you go buy coffee at? A lot of people give you that blank look. They might say, well, the gas station, because they don't have an emotional tie to it. But if you ask them, well, can you tell me why Starbucks? They'll tell you all sorts of stories like, oh, well, yeah, I met this great person there. I did a business deal. All these emotions that are tied to a story because of that. So they can share with you how they feel each and every time when they're in one. So when you look at your business, how can you create that emotional attachment? And here's the best thing. Because of that emotional attachment in this situation, and it's across a board, it's across everywhere. When it's that strong, the likelihood of a customer going somewhere else is so small. The only way someone would, let's say they go to a store other than a Starbucks, is that there's not one in the town that they're visiting. So then they have to substitute it for whatever else. That is the level you want to build that emotional attachment to your prospects and your clients. So as you move through each phase of marketing, you're going to want to use stronger and more compelling stories. I want you to compare it to dating someone. On that first date, you're not going to just open everything up and let it all fly out. Of course not, because that's a little overwhelming. You're just getting to know someone. So you have to think of it as, what's that light story you can start off with someone where they think, wow, I really like this person. This is interesting. And then every subsequent interaction, you give them a little bit more. We're like, wow, that's even more amazing. And it gets deeper and deeper. And because of that, each story builds a stronger emotional bond with that person. So while the first story, it starts at the surface level, by the time someone has reached the expansion phase of marketing, they truly know you on a deep personal level. They know the motivations behind the brand. They really feel that compassion and the difference that you're trying to make and so on. Because then you're solidifying the deal. It's just like dating. So I want you to imagine that. How can you take someone using stories? Which ones do you want to use at which point along this journey to take someone there? And remember, when you utilize stories and you combine them with emotional stacking, this will move people through each of the 6 phases to create loyal raving fans of your business who will ultimately generate referrals on autopilot. So I want you to go out there and start leveraging stories. Start leveraging emotional stacking in your business so you can compel people from becoming a raving, well, to start off with being that ideal client, they're a prospect, they're a total stranger, to becoming a raving fan. So that way you can grow your business and ultimately generate referrals from the people that you bring in. Because when you do this consistently, you create a perpetual machine in your business where you have leads coming in that you're advertising for, and then ultimately those are generating referrals. So you're always replenishing the pond of people that you can fish from for your business. That will have the most profound impact. So go out there and start using stories today in your business.
Thanks for listening to the Big Movement Podcast today. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Now that you've surely been inspired to take your entrepreneurial career and business to the next level, you can stop by the website and get more. And if you're ready to boost your business brand, be sure to grab your free report, 7 Easy Steps to Build Your Brand Today.